Welcome back, everybody. My name is T-Mac, and this is Eggman, and we are here for round number 8. Almost finished for the day. One more round after this, and we got a very interesting match here, Hayden. Let's talk about it. We got Gecko
Yeah,
Moria versus Purple Luffy.
yeah, two leaders that we haven't seen today. Purple Luffy has been the winner on pretty much every other North American regional for the last, I guess, two. Right, we did have Nami win the one in Pasadena, and then it won in Virginia and Peoria. So very strong deck for us. And then you said Gecko Moria is what it's facing against right now, right?
Yes, Gecko Moria, the OPO6 menace. We know Gecko Moria used to be a menace, especially with the ACOS Gecko Moria, but now it's gone into a different type of realm when it comes to deck, that type of deck. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it deals now without that ACOS Gecko.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have been doing a lot of theory crafting for it. You would assume that when you lose your specific 8 cost boss monster, the deck might not be able to be that viable. But I've been seeing a lot of creative builds, and really looking forward to seeing what build we see for this matchup in particular.
Yeah, especially going into that Purple Luffy matchup as well. I know Gecko likes to play that nowadays likes to play that more mid-range strategy. And funny enough, I'm very familiar with this list as well because this
Oh,
actually is the
okay.
list I am playing, and it's a very fun list. So it's going to be very exciting to see and talk about it a little bit here. So we see Purple Luffy here opting to go. That looks like second, first
Yeah.
actually.
No, they ended up going second. So I'm
Second.
guessing Vandal won the dice roll.
Mhm.
Purple Luffy generally wants to go first, and Gecko Moria also kind of wants to go first because of being able to use your leader ability like this. We
Yeah.
also do have the new 4 drop here, being able to have double attack on a character like that. That is very scary when you're actively taking cards from your life, like Ying's Purple Luffy generally does.
Yeah, so this card has been a powerhouse, and this is the ideal card you want to see off of this first Gecko swing, just because of that double attack. You can attach a few Dawn. It needs at least one Dawn to get the double attack, but it is a lot of pressure, and will also force cards out of Purple Luffy's hand as well, which is kind of what you want to do. So here we see on the side of Ying is going to look with that Trafalgar Law, trying to get another body. And here you see him getting the 2K counter in the Hutsuhachi because he respects the Ryuma come down. And speaking of a good 4 cost bodies, we see here Mr. 2 being able to ramp that one down as well, and then copying BP when he swings as well. So just good setup here from both players' side. Uh, very, very good starts on both sides, honestly. So this is definitely going to be a very good match here.
Yeah, and we're looking what Vandal wants to do with their 5 Dawn turn. You're kind of preemptively saying, I probably want to put one underneath my leader, deciding if there's a good card we want to be able to play off this. I think Perona is generally a great card here. Just make sure that, like, Purple Luffy is going to be at 5 or more cards for most of the game, just due to how their leader effect works, right? And we're going to 2K and 1K out of this 7K double attack. You kind of, again, have to respect that power that Ryuma can put out on this early game.
Yep. So ideally here, you would love to see maybe an Absalom come down here, maybe clearing out some of that Trafalgar Law, or even like you mentioned, the Perona as well would be a very, very solid here off of a Gecko swing. Or he could just maybe look to apply a little bit of pressure with another 4 cost body. And yep, so that's what we're going to see here. And we're going to see the 4 cost Kuzan coming down. And this 4 cost Kuzan, as we know, we've seen it time and time again since its release. It just puts immense pressure, especially getting that a -4 cost on the when attacking is just super strong. And it also replaces itself as well.
Yeah, especially since we did see the 7 cost Sanji leave Ying's hand. That would probably be the best way for Ying to deal with that card. But without it, it's going to be kind of tough. I think we are at 8 Dawn. So if Ying has like a 9 drop Lin, we can use that to use our leader effect to ramp one and then get rid of the Kuzan if we want. So that could be an option. Looks like we're just going to use a 6K attack here. We're going to use the leader effect. We're at 9 Dawn right now, and we're going to see what we want to use our 9 Dawn with. It looks like Lin. And now you got like a weird decision. Do you want to get rid of the Ryuma or the Kuzan?
I think honestly the Kuzan is probably the better target here, but he
Oh, but
actually
we're choosing Ryuma.
Yep. So he says, I'm not scared of this Kuzan here. You gotta have the cards to deal with it, and I don't know about that one because I feel like I guess putting it to the bottom as well makes it known that that's a no counter, especially when it comes into the late game as well. So here we're just gonna see a Sindri swing into that Bonkure, getting rid of that on board, and this Linlin can actually go quite easily. Um, because the thing about this list that makes it really interesting, it runs a lot of unutilized cards. One of them being, I'm not going to spoil the surprise for everyone at home just yet, but you'll get to see a card that just does a lot of work, especially in this matchup with these Kuzans on board. So here we're going to see tried and true Rebecca coming down. So four gonna be able to play something as well. So
Hmm.
this is going to be the Hina. So, oh man, tried and true. Here we're going to see the swing come. He's going to pitch one card. And if I was a betting man, he is going to get rid of. That looks like another Ryuma. So, and then ends up able to play the Absalom, put two back, and able to clear out this Linlin, all while establishing an insane board. And a lot of people, Eggman, say that Gecko Moria was a problem, but honestly, I still say Rebecca is still a problem. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, and it's very clear that like 8-drop Moria into Rebecca, both those cards existing at the same time. But I generally think, yeah, Rebecca being a 4-drop blocker that lets you recur cards very easy. The fact that worst case you can just use as a 1K out of hand, I do think it's the strongest card of the two. And being able to use it, and you've seen it in Rob Lucci still. Gecko Moria can still take a lot of advantage of it because we discard 2 cards from our deck every turn too. Getting
Yep.
back Hina, Brook, a lot of value you can still get with this card.
Yep. Very problematic card, but it's still here and it still puts in a lot of work. And here we're going to see another 9-cost Linlin. And back-to-back 9-cost Linlin. So just being able to heal and now getting rid of the Kuzan. So I can understand now why he decided to go get rid of the Ryuma because he knew he was going to get rid of the Kuzan anyways with another
Yeah.
9-cost Linlin.
So most people recognize that, yeah, obviously this deck loses 8-drop Moria. That's been a very strong card for this deck in general. But we also lost Ice Age, right? That
Yep.
does really let us upconvert our Absalom into bigger removals. And without it, I think Moria has a tougher time than a deck like Rob Lucci to get rid of another 9-cost without any additional setup.
Yep, definitely has to put in some work here, but he's a very, very. If he has a Hina here, he can do some Hina plays as well. There's a lot. If like I said, I play this deck list and it's a very fun deck list. And if you, it has, you'd be surprised. Even with the loss of Ice Age, there are a lot of cards that can do some very strong things. So here we're gonna see another Kuzan come down. Gonna get another card. He just has to see the right cards here. I'm not seeing how many he has in trash, but we still have to be wary of cards like Tempest Kick, for example. And there's one specific card that we got in the black starter deck in the 4-cost Shirahoshi blocker that is also in this list as well. That does get played. But looking like how he's attaching Dawn here, it doesn't look like he will be able to get the full combo off here. So it looks like he's just going to end up using leader ability to get back another Ryuma on board and keep on applying that pressure. So this is going to be another big swing here, and Ying is just going to end up having to take this one here for sure.
Yeah, and this is very scary. I think Vandal's done a very good job at putting out these menacing boards, right? Again, Purple Luffy doesn't have access to a lot of removal. Linlin is one of our better cards for that. We have 7-drop Sanji, which would be able to like rest the Kuzan, but we'd still have to like attack into it, and Rebecca can take a block for one of those. Yeah, and with another Kuzan on board, I'd have to be very scared about, taking this damage. Looks like we're going to play out 9-drop Luffy, so we are going to go Dawn -1, draw a card, and rush. So we're likely finally getting rid of this Absalom. But yeah, Kuzan's still on board, Ryuma's still on board. Very scary situation for Ying right now.
Yep, very scary indeed. But like I said, having that Kuzan even just stick on for one turn can be pretty detrimental, especially depending on the cards that are in hand on the side of Vandal now. If he does draw into that tech card that he does run for these harder matchups here, It would be very nice to see. It's honestly, I think it's still pretty okay for the side of Vandal. He still has two very impactful bodies in the side of Kuzan and on the side of Ryuma as well. So, um, and it looks like he's just going straight to face with all of these bodies as well too. So full 10 Dawn usage to work with here.
Yeah, and this is what you just hate to see. You know that there's likely a Gum Gum in hand, right? So you just pepper with these 5K attacks. Just make sure if they want to use Gum Gum, they have to use it. Going down to 1 life is probably fine because Ryuma's double attack doesn't really matter anymore when we're at 1. But this is a lot of pressure that we have to try to stave off. And yeah, 7K double coming down.
Yep. So Ying will have to like dump some combo here for sure. Has to get to at least 8. So he has the one up, like you mentioned, Gum Gum Giant here, powerhouse of a card.
Yeah.
Not being also being able to refuel hand here. So yep, here we see the Gum Gum Giant actually coming down. Gonna end up drawing 2 cards and pitching 1, and then staving
and
off
we're
that
gonna
attack.
see Kaido.
Kaido.
Super strong card here. Being able to discard a card from Ying's hand. That's an actual threat that's on the board.
Yep.
Vandal's at a low hand size at 2, but with board and life advantage, Ying's got a lot of ground he has to cover.
Yep, and that's one of the detriments to Purple Luffy. Purple Luffy doesn't have that wide board clarity. It doesn't have like a grab blade or something to catch multiple bodies. It's usually just single target, get rid of one body, that type of beat. So here we're going to see a big swing here, as this is going to be 7K into the Kuzan. Vandal is going to have to let this one go, unfortunately. Not enough cards to protect this here. So this Linlin is also going to have to take a swing here, probably going into this Ryuma. But Vandal can just let this go as well and then potentially go for game with the other bodies that he has on the board. That 9-cost Kaido is so threatening.
It is very, very threatening. And especially since, Ying's hand was so small. And putting everything on Trafalgar Law, getting rid of the Hina as well.
Yep, just saying, hey, I respect your board state right now, but Vandal can just go big swings here. So this is going to be a massive swing into Ying. If Ying doesn't have another Gum Gum Giant here, it will spell doom for him. So it ends up going to have to take and then just going to attach everything onto the Gecko Moria. He has the Gum Gum Giant. Going to tap the 1. Dawn -1, drawing 2 cards, and will he be able to counter out here? So that is going to be a plus 4K, and then that's going to be the GG. So Vandal ends up taking it there over Purple Luffy with Gecko Moria. So Gecko Moria still holding on strong and firm going into round number 9. 7-1 right now. Insane gameplay there. Very hyped to showcase that Gecko Moria list. Vandal has been working on that list for quite some time now, and it's just great to see him at the top tables. Very, very nice. Very good gameplay, and shout out to Ying as well. Not able to do the Purple Luffy shenanigans, but still able to try to give a little back and forth, but unfortunately just falling by the wayside there.
For the love of... Why did this just decide to shit the fucking bed?
Yep. So it seems like we just don't have any audio from their Eggman, but that's okay though. I can definitely pick up what you're putting down. A very good gameplay on the side of those two there. And I honestly say that's what I love about this current format is that this format is so open, it's so diverse. Just being able to like see the different leaders that can sneak up into the top halves of these brackets here. No one was expecting to see a Gecko Moria being X1 here. No one was expecting. Everyone was expecting like your purple Luffy's, your Teaches, that type of stuff, right? And seeing a deck like that coming onto the top half of the bracket is just really nice and very refreshing as well. So shout outs to Vandal for taking that one there. So that was a pretty quick game. So
We
we
do.
are going to take a little break here. Make sure you guys get your water and everything. We're going to have the final round in our Montreal regionals here. So currently, Eggman, I will give you the breakdown just before we go into that break here. Right now, at the top table is the undefeated. We have one Blackbeard, two Shanks, and one Dolphy, I believe.
Yeah.
So I will have to reconfirm that, but I'm pretty sure it is one Blackbeard, being Jonas that we saw last round.
Yeah.
And then we have the Shanks and we have the Dolphys. So no surprise here on what we were going to see at the top half of the bracket. We did know that those were going to be the decks to beat. It really will come down to just final standings and tiebreakers to see how everything will fall in the ladder. But I'm going to get a little bit of water here. Hayden, I hope you get some water too. Get refreshed, get rehydrated, because we're going to have one more final round of One Piece for the day. So I'm super excited to see that last matchup.
Yep.
Yep, so we're going to take a little break here, guys. We'll be right back. Stay hydrated, stay safe, and we'll be back in a little bit. Welcome back, everybody. It is your boy T Macaroni, and I am still here with Eggman, and this is going to be our final round for our Montreal regional. We have Doflamingo versus Doflamingo.
Yeah, and this is a 5-12 event, so this is round 9, 1-day event, so this is the finals for us. And to confirm, since it is Sophie, this is OP10. Jimbei is banned, and yet here we still are. Doflamingo double undefeated, and that's what our finals are for the event today.
Yep. People, we are no strangers to this matchup. We've seen it time and time again. Both players are no strangers to these top tables.
No.
So here we have the fist bump going into it, and just starting it off tried and true with a Trafalgar Law.
Yeah, and you can see both players playing a little bit faster. This is timed, even though it is the final round, since it is still in Swiss. And I think they're playing a little bit faster because it's understood that the end game for this is quite a grind, right?
Yeah.
I think one of the few matches in this current format that can go for time is actually this Doflamingo mirror match.
Yes, for sure. Like we saw that Boa versus Dofi matchup earlier, this is going to be the battle for the tempo, just trying to get it back from your opponent. And both of these players are very seasoned, so they know when is the correct time to go for those killer plays. So it's really going to come down to the draws and just those little micro sequencing. That's really going to be very, very strong.
Yeah, and generally speaking, there's a lot of mirror matches in this game where it's like, oh, if I go first, the matchup's way better, or if I get to my tech card very often. But this is just generally a grind, right? Trafalgar Law hits both players just about as hard. Jozu as well. The fact that Jozu can hit another Jozu back. I think it's a lot of battles of inches, not of miles. And we hit the first random search off Kevin. We hit the Mihawk there, and we pass back.
Yep, and one card that is, like we said it earlier, one card that's going to come up into this blue is that Grav Blade. Knowing when to proc that Grav Blade. Do you want to do it on curve? Do you want to wait for it a little bit? And here we see the Teach come down on the side of Sammy. And this is definitely a card that you want to see in this matchup for sure. Going to flip, going to get that Edward Weevil, and that is going to go into the Mihawk. And Kevin's just going to let that Mihawk go. And big board here already from the side of Sammy as well. So, man, Sammy is going out aggressive and fast here with these swings. And now Kevin's on the back foot, but like we said, there's no shortage of removal and tempo in this game. So let's see what it comes down to here.
We're going to use the Sengoku here to look top 5. We do see the Law grab for that one. Again, very important. We do see a Jozu go to the bottom for Kevin, which is a little unfortunate. I think that is, usually the highest costed card in both players' decks, so that does help a lot. We're going to play another Sengoku, look top 5. Oh, a second Jozu off the top there. Not very happy to see that, and deciding on our next, I guess, what 2K we want to add to our hand.
Yeah, that's definitely going to affect Kevin in the mid game there. But because Dofi is a deck that can search pretty efficiently, we might even see those Jozus come back a little bit later on. So never count it out just yet. So here we're just going to see a AK swing into this Weevil. So this is going to at least take 2 cards out of the side of Sammy to protect this body here.
Yeah, and if I was guessing, I would say that we were maybe trying to find like an 8-drop, a Martial D Teach of our own. That can definitely help, dictate the flow of the game. The fact that Sammy's been able to find and establish one compared to Kevin not so could be something that tips the scale a little bit.
Yep, for sure. So Sammy has all the Dawn here to work with. We see here he has that 4-cost Gecko Moria and just going to hard play here. Not going to use that Teach ability, but now that Teach ability is going to come into play. Attached to the leader, this is going to be the swing. Going to flip there, and another Edward Weevil coming down. Going to basically replace itself, and Kevin ends up having to take it here. And this is going to be another 7K swing, and this is just going to be a block off of this Trafalgar Law. Double Edward Weevil.
This is pretty scary, right? Generally, the cost of 2-drop teaches that you go -1 in hand, but when you're playing Moria, when you're playing Weevils, that doesn't really happen, right? You really get to recur that cost. We are going to use a Law for 4 to bounce back a Sengoku to get rid of one of the Weevils there. So it's going to be mildly easy to play that card again, but we are seeing a little bit more control. We do see the 2-drop teach there, going to be able to use that effect, put a card to the top, and now we're going to be attacking 7k into likely, I'm going to guess, Weevil. And
Yep.
if there's a boa on the top there, yes, this is great.
Oh, there's that Eggman Clairvoyance coming down. So this boa is going to not only be able to stack and rearrange the top 3 cards, also going to get an additional Dawn as well. So this is going to be one more. So this is actually going to be an 8k swing into this Weevil here. So I'm going to take at least 2 cards. And Sammy just saying, hey, I'm not giving you the cards. You can have it.
Yeah. And the difference between a 7k and an 8k swing there is really important. It just means that Sammy would have to give up at least 2 cards to save it. And looked like that was a little bit expensive. But Jozu hits the board, the first one of this game, putting the boa back in hand. And getting our Sengoku back as well. Using it again, and then, being able to draw a card. Looks like we've decided it's already Law.
Yep.
And likely going to put it on top again with the Teach effect and get some more tempo back in our favor.
Yep, so probably just going to end up using it here to, honestly, like, this is the same thing we saw earlier. It's like when you have that Law and you want to put that on top, do you bounce the Teach or do you bounce the Law? Because either way, one is going to come back for the next turn. I think you always want to bounce the Teach, never want to give back the opponent the Law. And hey,
if I not to contradict you, but I would say it depends on what the board state is. Since Sammy has a way more developed board, I think bouncing back the Law is correct. Just because you are able to make it difficult, but we do have the red rock there, so not the gravity blade that we likely would have wanted, but being able to get rid of the Jozu is strong. And this is the matchup. A lot of back and forth with getting advantage from Trafalgar Law, and we'll see how Kevin decides to use this turn.
Yep, very, very grindy matchup, just like you said. And there we see the Martial Teach ability. And you see, like, and this is the thing, right? Martial Teach, initially when that card came out, people were like, oh, you're going -1 on hand size, right? But, like, so much value, especially when you pair it with all those good cards. So, like the Edward Weevils, like the Gecko Morias, man, so much value you get from it. So, so here we're going to see an 8k swing. Going to use that effect, get that Edward Weevil, replace the card in hand, and now that's an 8k swing onto that Gecko Moria. Gecko Moria just saying goodbye. And now here's another Sengoku, probably going to decide which counter he wants to add here.
And we're looking at top 5. I did see an event on top there, so Graph Blade, Red Rock, neither of those cards are hard searchable in this deck. You can rearrange them with like a Perona, but they also are kind of deciders in some of these matchups too. So it's a bit of a tough spot to see one maybe hit the bottom.
Yep, and just going to get that 1-cost blocker lodge. So just to set that up there. And man, it's so technical, this matchup, I feel. Just you have to know when to take your shot. And here we see that looks like a double Jozu going to the bottom there, and an event card also going down to as well. So both having some pretty rough Sengoku searches here. So Sammy will have to do. It's kind of even, honestly, and no surprise on this mirror match here. Like, this is exactly what you're expected to see. So yeah, it's really gonna get down into that nitty gritty there. That deep, those last few turns, especially when they get down to 1 life, 2 life, that's where it's really going to matter. So here we're going to see that top 3 search, and unfortunately, fortunately, actually, we did see an event there, so able to rearrange that. Going to use that Martial Teach ability to do some swings here, so attaching the 2 to leader, and now this is going to be another 7k swing, going to use that leader effect, and Edward Weevil basically being able to draw that card he put to the top with the Boa Hancock ability. Man.
Yeah, And there was I believe there was a Gravity Blade on that top 3. I don't remember if he put it as the second or third card, but that will be pretty huge if Kevin tries to prioritize going wide. Unsurprising, Jozu bounce back a Goku, or Sengoku to bounce back the Boa here. A lot of just returning cards to the hand in this matchup.
Yep, hand sizes are going to be big, boards are going to be hopefully bigger, and it's just going to be a non-stop just bounce city. Um, and man, and like I was saying earlier, like the technical play in this matchup is just insane. Like, and some of it you also have to have a little bit of a splash of a clairvoyance as well, just to know, like what your opponent might come up with as well, and just remembering what cards are in your opponent's hand and having to prioritize like what do you want to target, what do you want to attack into. So it's going to be very, very difficult. I even like myself as like an average player is just looking at this like this is a lot of thinking.
Yeah, and we're going 7 into the law. We are going to spend resources to save it. For 1, we're going to play Sengoku again, look top 5. And yeah, as kind of mentioned, like we've probably resolved 5 or 6 Sengoku searches, right? So we're starting to get back around to the top of our deck from the beginning of this game. So, if Kevin's been able to keep track of that, you can kind of know where the Jozus are going to end up.
Yep. So we do know that Kevin. We've already seen one Jozu come back around, I think. So though, you remember he did put double Jozu back early out in the game. So Kevin might actually being able to see those double Jozus and actually doing shenanigans. And here we see that Grav Blade come down, get rid of one Jozu already. So man. Like it's basically like we're just playing a game of like merry-go-round, just because everything's going back to the bottom. So it really
and that's
is.
yeah, and that was just really being able to use Boa to find that there, rearrange it to know that you can play it next turn. And since we have a good amount of cards on board too, we can really pressure this board, and while also just getting rid of theirs. So we're going to start with a 6K with the Law. Again, Kevin does have a blocker there too. Oh, going down to 1. Wow. All right, going to play out a Weevil off that. That's going to get the block. Play the 1-drop blocker ourselves. I've been really surprised to see this 1-drop blocker law. It's generally not been in pretty much any other event that I've seen in this format. People aren't playing that card. So to see both Sammy and Kevin play it in this finals is pretty remarkable for me.
Ooh, and here we see that the Gravity Blade coming on the side of Kevin. And Kevin has to think here which bodies he wants to get rid of here, because anybody that doesn't get rid of here more than likely can come back down on a subsequent turn. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Kevin puts back here.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the laws, and then it's either the Weevil or the second law, right? If you I'm guessing that, yeah, they likely have bounce law in rotation, so they want to be able to use that to get rid of another one. But which means if you give them back law, they'll just play it next turn too. And Sammy's got all the momentum on his side at this point.
Yep. So, and like just to touch back on a point you mentioned here, this 1-cost law, I think previous formats, right? There was just like so much removal, right? Where this 1-cost law wouldn't be relevant, but because there's a lot of decks now that don't have as good removal, that's a free body that you can just put there and you can use it to block, to stop an attack, or to like on a character, for example, because a lot of these games really go down to how many characters you have on board. So
yeah, and we're still playing pretty fast. I think it's been we're probably about halfway through the time, if I can count to 15 minutes. But we find another law off the Sengoku. That's going to, again, keep the momentum on our side. The fact that, we're at 1 life as Kevin is a bit intimidating. We're going to bounce back to Sengoku to get rid of their law. Unsurprising. And now we can just do kind of a pretty large swing with our leader, put them down to 0. No, instead we're just going to keep going wide. We're going to play out the Weevil for 4. We're going to use the leader effect to put a Warlord on the top of our deck. Put 2 there, and we're going to attack 7, playing another Weevil out.
Man, and Sammy's just been finding these Weevils back to back to back, chaining them. Yeah, all of these cards are getting put back to the bottom, but Sammy's just digging through his deck, just getting them all back, especially with the Sengoku searches and stuff like that. So it's just it's just so much value that Edward Weevil puts in this deck.
And Kevin's going down to 0, saying likely he just doesn't respect Perfume Femur being able to do essentially 15k unblockable, or sorry, 17k unblockable if they don't get rid of the Teach, which is very strong there.
Yep.
But we'll have to see.
Yep, not respecting it, and that's one of the cards you have to kind of just say, hey, man, I know that card exists. I gotta stop this. Setting up blockers doesn't matter. Perfume just gets through it, right? So, we'll see. We'll see if Sammy does indeed run the Perfume, because I know a lot of Dofi lists have been cutting that card, just for more bodies and more like removal and bounce. So we'll definitely have to see here.
Playing Sengoku for probably the 10th time now, getting a buggy there. We did get rid of the rested Weevil, meaning that we have to attack into the Dofi leader. We're gonna go at least 7 attacking. Yeah, getting the Sengoku back, getting rid of the Weevil again. Kevin's got so many cards in hand, but kind of missing out a little bit on Boa. Never mind, we found one.
Yep, Bo Hancock being able to say, hey, I'm going to re in the range of top 3, add it on to my leader, and do my shenanigans, or add to character just for effect. It doesn't really come up here, but back over to Sammy. So does Sammy have the Perfume Femur? And look
Yeah.
at all those cards in hand with on the side of Kevin.
Man, if Sammy's playing Pudding though, imagine. Like at this point, their builds look so similar. I don't know the relationship between Sammy and Kevin, but if they know each other's builds, it does give them the freedom to play into and around different things. And it makes the way that Kevin's playing, he seems to know what the potential outs for Sammy might be.
Yep. So, and like you said, if their lists are similar, or like they have an idea of each other's list, Kevin might also know that Sammy might not be on that Perfume Femur. So that's why he's comfy going down to 0, and still not seeing what he needs to see here. So
Yeah.
looks like he's gonna add the Gecko Moria, that beautiful SP Gecko Moria to hand, and put the rest to the bottom. And what's the play here? Do you just try to establish a board? And nope, he's gonna hit that young
okay.
Gravelly Blade.
Yeah.
Getting rid of both the Law and the Boa Hancock. And now this is kind of where you want to be as Sammy. So here we're gonna see a 5k swing come down. Gonna use that Teach ability. And guess what's gonna go there? Yep, we see this again.
Another Weevil's coming back, right? If we had Law, we could also use Law effect, but 2k and likely 1k coming down. But yeah, again, a lot of momentum on Sammy's side, and Kevin's got a lot of cards in hand, but he is at 0 life right now, which is very scary.
Yep, very scary indeed. And how many times have we seen this Edward Weevil on the side of Sammy? I want to say it's upwards of 6 or 7 times we've seen it, and it's only a 4 of in the deck. So, like, it's just like it just keeps on coming back.
I mean, when you get to draw with it, it gets you closer to your second one. Again, we've been resolving Sengoku for the entire game, right? I think both times, like close to double digits, if not already, 1 or 2 Sengokus every turn since the start of this game.
Yep. So Sengoku just looking at that top 5, getting that Warlord there. So pretty much most of your deck you can just get to hand. It's just so much value in tandem with just the Martial Teach, man. The Martial Teach has been putting in so much work in this game. It's insane.
Yeah, I know that's a card that a lot of people, there was a discussion on if what was going to get hit from Doflamingo. It ended up being Jinbei, but I know a lot of people who are saying, you know what, Teach might be the problem, right? The fact that it lets you attack 7k for a card in hand every turn is pretty unique. Being able to transform cards in hand to power on board is pretty rare in this game, and it's been very strong in this deck, and sets up your leader ability. So you're not even like, you're really losing very little to be able to get a lot of pressure out.
Yep, and then that's the name of the game in the current format is all about how you can establish pressure. And Dofi's just the king of that, just being able to put out a free body every turn. And what you're telling me, I can put a specific card that I need for the situation on top of my deck? That's just crazy, crazy value.
Yeah, and I don't know, Kevin might have been trying to do a bluff. I saw him put aside 6 Dawn, so he might have been trying to say he had like a Red Rock, but used 4 for Weevil. Looking at we're paying 4 for another Weevil. No blockers here is very scary, though.
Yep, Kevin just saying, hey, maybe I have this. I can counter out if anything. Like you,
Hmm.
there's no way you can go for game here. So where is this swing going? Is it going? I'm 100% sure it should be going into a character.
Hmm.
So here we see a Weevil coming down as well. And where is this going?
My guess, 5 cost law, because it's the, or 4 cost law, 5K, because it's the easiest thing to remove. But
Ha has to be, has to be. So hopefully we can see that off the board here. And now I wonder if, right, because there are no blockers on the board on the side of Kevin, if
yeah.
Sammy just says full 10 Dawn going in for 16K without the Weevil, will he get there?
Oh, he went into leader, and not for nothing. Kevin's got a lot of cards in hand. He's got a lot of 2Ks, which we publicly know, right? Like that Sengoku
Yep.
has been adding buggies the entire game, right?
Yep.
15, 5, 6 might not be enough to close out this game, which is absurd. We're gonna start with a 7. You can get the 1K and 2K. There are some like tricky plays you can do where, oh, we are going to play out the law to bounce back the law to bounce back the Weevil. Okay, so we're like a little bit intimidated by them being able to win next turn.
Yep.
So we're going to take the somewhat slower route, but so being able to get rid of some of these Weevils is good. Generally speaking, you just have to hit into the leader. If they let a 5K body go, you could have won the game, right? If you think the math that way. But doing this play, I think it makes it very difficult for Kevin to win on the other side, and still offers a lot of cards out of Kevin's hand.
Yep. Gotta slow it down. Sammy's just saying, hey, give me cards, please, more and more. And every time that
Yeah,
Weevil gets bounced back to hand on the side of Kevin, that's a no counter there. So Sammy knows at least, at the very least, that is a 2 no counters in Kevin's hand.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so he bounced back the, yeah, just confirming that this body's been out there. This
Yeah.
is the one that he played off the leader effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, we're going 6K into, yeah, 6K into leader, getting a 2K, maybe spending one for a Sengoku or a blocker. Blocker it is.
Blocker it is. And this law blocker, too, we've seen, like, we've talked about it. Like, it's been useful. And
Mm-hmm.
now this law blocker is just protecting all those bodies there. And Sammy still has a lot of cards in hand. And Kevin is losing out on card advantage here now, too. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just great. It's very easy for Doflamingo to have like one extra Dawn in a lot of scenarios. You know, there could have used, you know, it. I think we ended up using Teach's effect, but we did also play 4. But sometimes you weirdly have some extra Dawn available because of Teach. So being able to keep those 1 Dawn turns active is great.
yep, for sure. So now Kevin has to do some work here to get to go back on the counter attack and deal with this board state here. So here, yep, the law going to bounce the law, going back to hand, and just going to have to counter out of that for sure. And now more Dawn usage is going to have to go on the side of Kevin. He's counting up 4, it looks like. So
Did we?
potentially,
Did we? I might have missed it. We might have. Did we use Teach's effect and attach no Dawn?
I don't.
As in like with no rested Dawn, we just used the effect to put that card on top, or was that known the card was on top?
I think that was known.
Okay.
Yes, I think that was known. A blind teach effect that would be crazy work.
Yeah. Yeah. So we used the effect. Yeah. We paid 1 pair
Okay.
for that. Yeah, for that effect to be able to play it off. So yeah, we played a 4-drop law off the top to bounce itself back, to bounce back the 1-drop blocker.
Yeah.
6K into somewhere, 7K into
Yep.
somewhere still. Likely, yeah, the Weevil based on a 7K being able to be there. Plays up the Moria to play out a 1-drop law, but this is not doing a whole lot. I mean, we've been cycling through a lot of our 4-cost laws. We're just going to go 7. We're going to go
Yep.
the big 13. And yeah, Sammy
And
wins. Sammy's our winner for this weekend.
yeah, Sammy ends up showing us how to play that Dofi mirror match. Man, that like I said, that is a very technical game. Like you
Mm-hmm.
have to know how to play around here. And man, it was just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then Sammy just had that explosive turn where he was able to get rid of so many cards out of Kevin's hand. And that Grav Blade on the side of Sammy as well did put in a lot of work when he was able to get rid of 2 bodies. And then on the side of Kevin, those Sengoku searches, putting those Jozus back early, even though he did end up getting back into a few of them, it just was a little bit too much, and Sammy just ends up taking it there. So very well played out by Sammy. I know he's probably super excited over there. I do see him jumping for joy right beside me, so very well played by both players. And man, what a game to finish it off with.
Oof. Yeah, and I think something to remark too, Kevin, I think did a really good job at kind of like baiting the fact that like, oh, you know, I'm at 0 life, you have a lot of bodies on board, you could attack into me, but I think Sammy correctly identified that that could be a loss scenario. Kevin, even though I think he was probably on the back foot for most of that game, recognizing times where he can kind of turn the tide. And yeah, it was I think a well showing from both players today.
Yeah, I really like that turn where Kevin was able to say, hey, I'm going to put these Weevils on the board. I'm going to put these big bodies on the board. I need you to deal with it, or I'm going to be going for game. And Sammy was able to recognize that and just going for that push. Very well played by both players. Man, even in the rounds that we've seen some great games today. For example, a few rounds ago with Jonas on that Blackbeard playing beautifully, showing us a masterclass in the Blackbeard play, and then coming back for our finals as well, seeing the Dofi v Dofi. A lot of the times people think these Dofi v Dofis are not very fun matches to watch, but man, when 2 high-level players like that are going at it and going back and forth and respecting each other's plays, it's just so nice to see.
Yeah, hard agree. We were able to see some, what was it, Purple Luffy versus Moria, with Moria taking that. So entered this round X1, maybe in top 16. We'll have to find that out in the next couple hours or days or so, but that's very exciting to see that. Moria, a deck that I think a lot of people wrote off, before even Moria was banned, 8-drop. So the fact that it's, can at least get an X1 finish, X2 finish, if not X1, I think is remarkable. Purple Luffy's around, and I'm curious to see what the final top 16 at the end of the day is.
Yes, for sure. I'm super excited to see that as well. And if you guys want to see any of that top 16, I know, Hayden, yourself, you will have the breakdowns and all of that for this event and all the other events that have been taking place over the last past. This weekend, I know Monterey is also going on as well, so you'll have the results for that on your socials and things as well.
Yeah. And on the Carta Magica, it will be on their Facebook. I believe Monday morning is generally when they post that. So I usually time that with them at most of the time. But it's been, there's a lot of events going on this weekend around the world too. Purple Luffy able to take this one. I think Shanks won in Australia when they had their event earlier this weekend too. And also some events happening, as mentioned, in Mexico. There's one in Europe right now too. This has just been a fantastic just time to play in the format right now. I think there's so much diversity. It's been really fun to see how different regions adapt to it.
Yes, it's been super fun. I know. I can't wait. Like it's not only has it been just a great weekend for One Piece, it's going to be a great couple of months, because not only that, we get EBO 2 at the end of this month as well, and then we get the big one. We get OPO 11. People are looking forward. Me and you both know the Boogeyman of the format, and most people at home know the Boogeyman. So it's going to be interesting to see how NA adapts to that, because we know NA doesn't like doing things that JP does, and it's going to be fun to see how we adapt.
Yeah, it's always really interesting to see different regions, even within like North America. I think there's like a difference in like East Coast and West Coast mentality a lot of the time. There will be different regions with the exact same card pool, but you'll see different players and different people top with different things. And even within the leaders, we're seeing diversity in card pools a lot of the time. And even for this finals, right? 1-drop law is not on my radar for a standard card for Doflamingo.
Yep.
But it was at 3 or 4 copies, what it seemed like, for both of our finalists in the finals there, which is, I think, is a really interesting adaptation to what this format looks like right now.
Yeah, I love that. I always love a format where like those silver bullets will always come in, like those. And especially at these end tables as well. That is what is key. It's those cards that you're not expecting, those surprise factors. One of the cards we saw today was the Mule. I have never seen that card in my life.
Yeah.
But seeing that card at a table and just having that being beneficial to you is what it's all about. That's what deck building is about. That is what One Piece is about, that diversity. So it was very interesting to see all of that this weekend, and the games that we were able to see. That it was very nice to see those types of like diversities and stuff like that. But without rambling and getting too long, we're going to wrap it up here for the regionals. Hayden, let the people know where they can find you and all of your stuff as well.
Yeah, if you search the Eggman with 1G and then you let Google not correct you to put 2Gs on it, I'm on a lot of places, YouTube, Twitch primarily. I have a Twitter account, and then Eggman Events is usually my main social. So that's where you'll find a lot of my content and a lot of data for generally the English format for a lot of Bandai card games, but a lot of those are meshing with the Japanese. So that's been very interesting. And yeah, that's generally where you can find me online.
All right, and for myself, I'm always on the card game sphere. If you, all of our socials for Twitter and all of that are just below us here. So I also have a channel as well, which is T Macaroni. I usually do UA content, but I also branch out in pretty much every and any card game that is under the sun. So you'll always find me around. So if you ever see me at an event, make sure you come and say hi. If you ever see Hayden as well, make sure you go say hi, ask for a picture and stuff like that. We want to give a big shout out to our host and TO for today, Carta Magica, making us look nice here and doing everything for the venue, and the judges as well. The judges were immaculate this weekend. Everything ran very smooth. Everything was clean. We did have a little bit of hiccups on our tech side, but they made sure everything for the players ran super smooth. So make sure, give the hypes for Carta Magica and all of that. We also want to thank Bandai as well for giving us this lovely card game, bringing out the people here. If you guys haven't been to one of these regionals, make sure you go to any one of them. We have plenty of them throughout the next couple of weeks. It is regional season and we're in the full swing of things. Make sure you guys secure that invite. If you guys still have store champs as well, make sure you guys go out to that. Go try to get that invite, because when Cardfest comes around, you want to be there. It's an amazing event. I know Hayden has been there a few times. I've been there for my first time in Orlando, and man, what an event it was. It was a nice time. So make sure you guys get your chance to go there by trying to secure your invites for sure. Hayden, do you have any final thoughts for the people at home?
No, just generally, yeah. Big shout outs to Carta for letting us do this. I always love providing coverage for events like these ones. I think Canada definitely has a really strong scene for this game too, and any content and coverage for that I think is a win. So I'm happy this was able to be happen this weekend and run super smoothly. I think this was a pretty well run event, really quick through the rounds. If anything, a little bit too quick between rounds. So happy to see that this is ending at a good time.
Perfect. So that is going to be it from us here, it from me in Montreal, and it from Hayden in the States at the moment. So make sure you guys check out all the VODs and stuff that will be uploaded onto the Carta Magica socials. Should be up by Monday. So make sure you guys go check that out and give them some love on their channel. So thanks to my tech guy Alex as well for going through everything and bearing with everything as well. He did an amazing job this weekend. So shout out to him as per usual. So I'm T-Mac. This is Eggman. It's been a pleasure to grace your homes this weekend. And make sure you guys stay tuned for more lovely One Piece gameplay throughout the coming months. See you in the next regionals. Take care. Stay safe. Stay hydrated. And I'll catch you in the next one.